Hello, magnificent creatures. It's been a long way home, and we're finally here. So I've been having some downloads, and I want to share it. And I want to share it with everyone, not only in a group that I lead or a group that I run or a group that I'm part of, because that limits to who it gets to. And this may be important for you. And the simplest human beings are usually the ones that hold the key to liberation. So I'm here to share information, and if it sounds like something that resonates, take it, enjoy it, alchemize it, share it, spread it. If it doesn't, I honor that too. So I've recently had a very clear knowing straight from the divine that death begins at the beginning of surrender. Death begins at the end of resistance. When us finally come to peace that everything around us is divinely designed, and we are all spirits that have signed up to accomplish and do something that brings in Hebrew you call it tikkun ha'olam. That's a word in Kabbalah, the word in the Tanya, that is ultimately our purpose, to bring the universe to oneness. Tikkun means fixing the world, but that's not really, every language has its words that has a deeper vibrations. So tikkun ha'olam, the vibrations of the word is oneness. It's not just fixing, because fixing comes from a thing of a lack. There is no lack. We've all been divinely designed to fulfill our oneness. And that's what we're here for. And that is our medicine. So as soon as we come to the realization, and that's a knowing, that's not something that you can read in a science book. That's not something that you can read in a history book. It's not something that you can learn from a philosopher. It's something that happens through a portal. Sometimes it's a guru, an experience, something that gives you a God realization, and suddenly download the knowledge of that begins, and then everything does end up making sense. Not only does it make sense, but it aligns with science too. So once again, death begins when resistance ends and surrender flows. So when we come to the acceptance and realization that all that is happening around us is divinely designed, nothing is against us. All is there to bring us to the tikkun ha'olam, to the oneness, to the wholeness of the universe. We drop our resistance and we just accept the flow, and we surrender to faith. Now, I'm not talking about surrendering to faith that is taught to you through a religion. It's a faith that is an alignment, an understanding of who you are, part of a big picture, and you are everything in that picture. And so when suffering comes from resistance, all our suffering comes from resistance, which means, let's say in my case, getting married off in what I considered a forced marriage, because I didn't realize that everything is divinely designed. I didn't come to that realization, to that knowing. and then you get angry and upset, or you're in a relationship with someone breaks your heart and you get angry. But when you get the knowing that all this which is happening is not to you, but it's through you, and it's for the purpose of tikkun haolam, for the wholeness and the oneness, for you to come to a place where you are the purification of life itself, and without you doing this work, the universal oneness and final liberation can't come through, then you surrender. And then you don't have any of those feelings. You don't deal with like anger, depression, animosity. All of those blockages get dissolved. And then you end up stopping to fight. And when you stop fighting it metamorphically, and then all of the resistance drops and there's no more pain anymore. Because you are fulfilling your destiny, your mission. And I'm not in a religious way. That's not what I'm referring to, but in a universal way of the creation, of the ultimate creation. The it, the God, the goddess, the it of the universe, who's created this. You and I, the oneness. And once you come to that surrender and you drop resistance, automatically your destiny is closer to paradise. You wouldn't have to go through all those painful steps anymore. Because that is precisely part of your mission, to drop this. And so what we consider death is that process. Actually, what we consider death is something else, but those who know what I'm referring to, there is no death. What we see is not what we get. There are many more dimensions to what we see. But the process to a death that's ultimate liberation, that is ultimate life itself, is the process of dropping resistance, surrendering to the flow, and suffering ends right there. Welcome home, my dear, precious family.